Let's face it, blurring is not fun, but there's a few hidden Avid keyboard shortcuts that will make your life a lot easier. First, you're going to need to map these to the keyboard by going to the command palette and choosing Move. You're going to want Rewind and Fast Forward, as well as under the Trim tab, trim left 1 frame, trim right 1 frame, trim left 10 frames, and trim right 10 frames. It's all going to make sense in a minute. So let's get into it. Start a blur. We're going to go to Image and Paint Effect. Apply the paint effect. Go into Effects Mode. Create a simple shape. I'm going to create a circle. Change the mode to blur. And I'm going to go ahead and throw down a bunch of keyframes here. This one here, here, here. Over Bush's middle finger, here. Okay, so now you can use the fast forward and rewind keys when you select the keyframes to shuttle between the different keyframes. This makes a lot of sense when you have a bunch of keyframes huddled together like this. You can easily, without the mouse, jump between these different keyframes with the fast forward and rewind. The trim left and trim right keys will actually slip these keyframes left and right, as well as trim left 10 frames and trim right 10 frames. We'll move them by 10 frames. If you double click on one of the shapes and you select one of the points, you can also use the fast forward and rewind keys to jump between the different points there, which is really easy because sometimes it's difficult to find those points with the mouse if you have a complicated shape. You can also select a point and use the trim left, trim right to nudge those points into the spot that you need them to be in. Trim 10 frames will move them by 10 pixels. Trim 1 will go 1 frame. If you use the Option key, you can use trim left and trim right to move the points up and down. If you select the whole shape, you can use the fast forward and rewind to move the entire shape left and right. Now let's say you have a bunch of shapes. I'm going to duplicate this a bunch of times, put a bunch around. If you use the fast forward and rewind keys, you can jump between these shapes. So it makes it really easy to refine your blurs, make them look good, and get them done quickly.